Well, the Easter egg chasing may be over, but the championship season rolls on. We've come to Mount Pleasant in Batley, and not for nothing is it known as Mount Pleasant. It is a mountain of a ground, and on a day like this you cannot imagine anywhere more pleasant to watch a game of rugby league. Batley Bulldogs mid-table at the moment, but they're on the back of a wonderful Easter, 2 wins out of 2, and their fans are here in numbers, in hope and expectation as well, against a Toronto side who went top of the table last Monday with that fabulous victory, that nerve-tingling victory against Toulouse. They've been displaced by the French club who won yesterday, but Toronto can go top of the pack again if they win here today. Fans are walking past us, looking rather curiously at what these 2 grown men are doing with earphones on and shouting at each other. But we're looking forward to this game. Brian Noble alongside us as ever. We're looking forward to this game today.
Absolutely. I think it's going to be a huge test for this Wolfpack team. You look through the Batley lineup, the Bulldogs, the battle of the dogs, the Wolf against the Bulldog. So it should be a good day at the office. Dave Scott's on fire at the moment. Been watching Featherstone recently. I watched him against Featherstone recently, and Patch Walker and Don Brambani in the halves. Leak probing the big forwards in and around. Watch out for James Harrison, son of the famous Carl Harrison, who played for many years at Halifax and Hull, and an international indeed. And so they'll fancy this today. They've got a decent bench. Dane Manning probably the pick of the bunch with James Brown. Watch out for him when he comes off the bench with his offloads and his robust style of football. But let's not forget what the Wolfpack are about as well. They'll be looking to play their brand of rugby.
Well, there's Liam Kay, whose last grasp tackle against Toulouse made sure that Toronto kept on top of the tree. And here come Batley, who know all about the dynamics of this ground. They're going to be kicking it downhill in the first half, and it is a big hill. I know a lot of English fans are used to this, but Canadian fans watching, you might never have seen anything quite like this. This is the way they are lining up today, and Scott, the fullback for Batley, a 3-quarter line of Crooks, Galbraith, Smeaton and Retty, who's a Jamaican international. That very industrious and experienced halfback partnership of Brambani and Walker, and up front for them in the forward pack, Rowe, Leak and Holland, a redoubtable front 3, Day, Harrison and Farrell in the back row. And on the bench for Batley we've got Michael Ward, Brown, Davey and Manning, who started his days at Leeds a few years ago. So this is the Toronto lineup today. O'Brien, Gareth O'Brien still at fullback, Kay, Worthington, Stanley the new signing, and Pownall with McCrone and Briley in the halves, Emmett, Ackers and Sims up front, Whiting, Bussey and Buchanan the back row, and on the bench it's Maitua, Sidlow, Hopkins and Wallace. So we're about to get things underway here. It's going to be Patch Walker for Batley, who will kick off. There's no confusing the teams here, because it's a very light-shirted Batley side who kick downhill for Toronto in the black, the familiar black, and a first touch for Ashton Sims, carting that ball up the hill, and Alex Rowe, one of the first to get into him, and a penalty given away.
Yeah, I think there's a drop ball in amongst all of this. The referee adjudicating that there's a high shot on Sims, and he's not happy about it. We'll just get on with the game. So penalty, a leg up out of this bottom of the half. So Batley won't want to do that. They'll know this field better. You've got to be squeaky clean defensively and not give anybody a leg up out of their own half. Oh, there you go.
Liam Kay's just slipped over.
First activity.
Slipped over. You missed that watching the replay. Never mind. We saw the giggly moment. Here comes Ashton Sims again. Second drive of the day for him, and he's virtually on the halfway line. I tell you, the pictures on your screen do not do justice to the slope. We're standing right beside it as it's taken in this time by Emmett. And now Briley, and into the line comes O'Brien. There's plenty of zip and pace in this Toronto back line, of course, these days. Chase Stanley, back to Briley again, and Buchanan solidly in, but Batley yet to get their hands on the ball so far, having given that penalty away. Ackers goes out of dummy half with a little dummy and tries to zip through. Held up, that's the 5th. Here comes the last, back to Briley again. He called for it, he gets it, he throws it wide, and Stanley tried to keep it alive. The ball's gone to ground. There's no advantage there, and it'll be Batley who get the ball back.
Well, the chance their arm, tried to find the play, couldn't quite find the play, but right place to hand the ball over. There you see Stanley trying to find a miracle ball between two defenders. Well defended Batley. Now for tactics for Batley, watch how they'll ruck the ball down the hill. Clearly it's easier to run down this considerable slope, and then the kicking game comes into play with Brambani and Walker. They'll be looking to knock off a 40-20.
Well, just carting it downfield at the moment, looking to pick up position as well as they can. Leak out of dummy half, who's a rat catcher by trade, Alistair Leak. I was reading an article that our very own Matt Shaw did last year about him in his rat catching role. Now it's Holland who's taken them 5 metres away from the halfway line. Leak again, the Cumbrian, collects here and goes to that right-hand side. Farrell tries to drive it forward. There's the 5th. So they'll be looking for a kick on the 6th again. Here it comes back to Brambani, who chips it over the top. He knows the wherewithal of this ground. Every inch of it finds touch. And Toronto will have it from the scrum, all things being equal, 10 from their own line.
Yeah, they understand what they're trying to do here, Batley. I think part of their plan also will be, when they're out of 40-20 kicking range, they'll kick the balls into the corner, probably find a try line, recharge their energy levels, and try and restrict the territory of the Wolfpack team.
So here it comes. Toronto looking to face this challenge. Remember, a victory for them today takes them back over the top of Toulouse into a 1-point lead in the championship table. It's all getting very, very tasty at the top end, certainly, of this championship league. Now it's driven in by Sims. Ackers, the acting half. Little step by Buchanan as he takes it in.
He started with a lot of carries, hasn't he, in this game, Buchanan?
Referee, Mr. Grant, Tom Grant, getting them back 10 metres. So there's the 5th, here comes the 6th. Ackers again, just inside the Batley half here. McCrone with the kick, took a deflection, but it bounces into the hands of the winger Jason Crooks, and Crooks is going to be held up 20 metres out from his own line, and Batley looking to roll it down again. This is Harrison, young Harrison, James Harrison. His dad Carl is here today. I was having a chat with him a little bit earlier. He's a big fella, isn't he, James? His dad was a big one as well.
Dad was a big fella. Got selective breeding.
Holland still going. Still going. So Leak, he's been here for 4 or 5 years now, Alistair Leak. Looking left again. Hammered in by Rowe, Alex Rowe. London-born Alex Rowe, but played a lot of his rugby league up north at the likes of Castleford and Sheffield. Here's Walker's kick, and he'll just watch it out of play there. Greg Worthington.
There's the indication of that game plan again. Walker and Brambani will let the ball roll out into touch.
So the head and feed here, 10 metres from their own line. A gentleman in a Batley Bulldogs shirt and a pint of lager in his hand, but a Canadian Mounties hat on his head, has just walked past our commentary position, nodded politely and carried on his way.
Might be supporting both teams.
He could be. Could be on a winner that way, couldn't he? Head and feed for the Wolfpack. Briley will put it in. It's a decent crowd here today as well, as Brian mentioned in the build-up. They've marketed it well, the Batley Bulldogs. Canadian flags around at various intervals as well, to welcome the newest side in rugby league to what they claim is the oldest ground in rugby league, Mount Pleasant. Here's Kay out from dummy half. Little jogging run by him. Ackers pointing and saying to the referee, what about a penalty there? Referee says play on, so Emmett will play on. Terrific workload, Jacob Emmett, and penalty. Too much going on in the tackle for the referee's liking.
Yeah, I think they're trying to hang on to this Wolfpack middle players. That's the second penalty they've given up the hill. And it genuinely is a leg up. Here's Emmett with the carry. Indicating that Holland's too much time on him there.
2 balls on the field at the moment. That would be an evolutionary move, wouldn't it? But 2 balls on the field, let's see what you can do with that. But for the time being, it's just the 1. And here comes McCrone towards that left-hand side, handing off defenders, getting a pass away to Worthington. Here comes Liam Kay, who puts the head down and has a go, but across was Dave Scott, the full-back, to make the tackle, but only a couple of yards away from this Batley line. Hurled towards the middle again. Bossy now has defenders hanging off him at the moment. Farrell on that occasion. Ackers picks up from dummy half. They probe left again with McCrone with a dummy and a reach for the line. And despite the best efforts of Harrison over there, it's going to be a try. The first of the game. The first real probing opportunity for the Wolfpack. And they score with 7 minutes gone.
Well, there was lots of pressure on the open side, which Batley probably expected the Wolfpack team to go down there. They went the short side. McCrone's called for the ball and he just kept going. Here's Ackers, finds McCrone, just keeps going at the line, fancies himself there. Absolutely beats James Harrison, just got on his outside, and I don't know if he realised the line was that close, but he takes Harrison on, he sticks his hand out, but he gets the ball down. Great try, Josh McCrone.
So Toronto getting the start they would have so desperately hoped for before the match began. Josh McCrone, the scorer. Ryan Briley has a chance to kick the goal as well here. Even the goal kicks are uphill.
A bit more juicy.
So you can see from the wind turbine there that there's not a lot of breeze at the moment. A rugby league club with its own wind turbine. I don't think there are too many of those knocking around.
Don't you have to turn them on before they work anyway?
But if the wind is blowing,
yes,
and there's no wind, that's the point I was making there, Brian. There's no wind at the moment.
Yeah, I understand the point that you're making, but what I'm saying, you have to turn them on to find out that there's no wind in, because they don't go on their own. They don't have wind alone, are they? There's a little bit of electric power.
I'd love to carry this conversation on, but I can hear people switching off by the millions.
Yeah.
There's the kick from towards the touchline. That's a good effort from Ryan Briley. So 4 becomes 6, and Toronto settling any nerves they might have had here. They lead early doors, 6-0.
McCrone just goes at the line. Brambani doesn't know if he's going to get the help from Harrison, so can't go and assist him, and just gets on his outside, finishes the play.
So 8 minutes played here. It's Toronto's first visit here to Batley, isn't it?
Yes.
There's a restart which looks long, but was actually floated very well. And it means that Toronto have to start from as deep as possible. Sims, well, he has lost it this time. He got a penalty first time around, but this time the referee says it's lost. And it's a terrific advantage for Batley now, because they will get the scrum here, head and feed, close to that Toronto line.
Pushing and shoving. Great shot. Don't know who got the shot on him. I think it was Alex Rowe. Might have been Wayne Retty jumping in on. Let's have a look. So here's Sims coming out. Boom. Alex Rowe was certainly one of them. James Harrison trying to make up for his try line there. Putting his shoulder into Sims and forcing the error. Scrum, head and feed to Batley.
Now the touch judge has been on to help out with the referee's disciplinary here. Everything's calmed down a little. Touch judge has seen something, so he's having a word. Okay, fellas, come this way. I want to have a quick word with you.
Common sense. Don Brambani, Josh McCrone, stop and pushing and shoving.
He's put it on report. That Canadian viewers, he's put that on report, which means that the disciplinary folk will have a look at that in the week to see if there's anything to follow up on. But as far as this game is concerned, we'll just leave it at that. Carry on from here. So head and feed for Batley, and a real stressful few moments on this Toronto line. Back it comes to Scott, trying to slide through, wrestled down. Skipping into position goes Walker, looking towards that right-hand side. They're looking for the crash, bang, wallop, trying to get over the line. Day gets to his feet. It's a penalty. It's a penalty, holding down too long. So they're going to take the tap here. The set of 6 starts again effectively. They could have gone for goal, but they've decided that they've got Toronto teetering. Is there any proof to be had? Holland pushes in hard. Another penalty. Well, again,
What's this one for?
they're going to start with a tap again. Taking it back.
Alex Rowe's going next. Oh, Tom Holland's gone again.
Here we go. Holland rolls it in. Down that hill. Toronto hanging on at the moment. Leak stands and waits, comes back towards this right-hand side. Out it goes to Brambani with a pass away. Smeaton, but there's a couple on him and one more joins in. Bussey to make sure that they don't bust the line. Swung back again to Brambani. Offered inside for Rowe. The big fella has a go. Great offload as well. Leak, but it's tough stuff in defence here. There's Worthington on that occasion. Desperate to hold on to the lead they have at the moment. Brambani again hurls it out. There was a sniff of an interception there for Whiting, but it was just kept a hold of by Walker.
He flew out the line, didn't he? Trying to get that.
Leak again. Farrell, lovely inside hands from Brambani to Scott. But this is the last play in the set. Leak. Walker dribbles it through. The white is good! It's a dive and a score! James Harrison will claim the try. Well, he might have been red-faced at one end, but he is purple-faced at the other, in sheer delight at scoring Batley's opening try of the day.
It's a great score from James Harrison. I think it's Pat Walker with the kick, dribbles the ball through. Yes, it is. Crone can't clean it up and gets on the inside of Worthington, I think it is. There's the score. Great score, James Harrison.
Well, that's terrific from the young fella. I think he'll enjoy that. And as he scores that, his uncle's just walked past us.
A big smile on his face.
Yeah, quite right too. Uncle Craig, isn't it? Paul, sorry, Uncle Paul Harrison, who's just walked past us in our unusual commentary position. There's the kick from Walker, and that is the 1500th point of Pat Walker's career. Terrific moment, great milestone for him to pass, and it's 6-6 as far as the game's concerned.
Yeah, smart play. Batley keeping the pressure on, dribbles the ball through, takes an off break on the way through. Worthington or McCrone can't clean it up. James Harrison can.
Big round of applause as his name is announced over the tannoy as well. Steepling kick, good kick. They mean business here today, Batley. We knew that. We knew that before this game began, that they would really lift, really aim up at this Toronto side, trying to prevent them reaching the summits of the championship. 13 minutes played. Rowe, Alex Rowe, still going, flips it away, lovely. Scott helps it on its way. Harrison's involved again.
Yeah, good second phrase rugby from Batley. Rowe will look to promote the ball at every opportunity.
There's a pass down that right-hand side for Retty. He can shift. Wade Retty when he's given the opportunity, not on this occasion because there were men in black to block his way. Holland. Leak. Step back by Brambani. Scott again with a kick, but it's O'Brien who's back there to cover that, and Toronto start 25 metres out.
Well, there's good kick pressure from Toronto, which enabled O'Brien to force the error out of Brambani on his kick. It was Scott in the end that kicked it. Brambani promoted it to him and dribbled the ball through.
Okay. Pownall again, it's his second carry in this set. So the two wingers have helped Toronto to the halfway line. Emmett now putting a bit of muscle, a bit of bulk in there. Well, that's the fifth, so here comes the last. Toronto's troops are readying themselves here for a chase of one sort of another. Kick from McCrone. looking for touch. Scott is hoping it does go in touch, but even better for him, it's gone dead behind the dead ball line. So a tap back on the 20. 7 tackle count here for Batley down the hill.
Yeah. The hill can do things to you deceptive. You think you've got to kick the ball a little bit harder up the hill sometimes, and you misjudge it.
Lewis Galbraith, a great spell at Rochdale up to the end of last year when he announced he was signing here at Batley. Is this Michael Ward, who came from Oldham? It is on from the bench, making his presence felt straight away. Brambani. Knock on, they're claiming the man in the ruck there was Ackers. Well, he was there, but he was not impeding according to the referee, so head and feed goes Toronto's way.
I did actually think he got out of the way. Ackers, let's have a look. So there's a stumble from Lee, so the tackle's probably held there. Stood up. Batley player's not happy.
What's the game, ref? What you paid for?
Spun left, surprise play down that left-hand side straight away. Kay picks up at dummy half. McCrone offers it off to Emmett, and Emmett with a flat pass across to Buchanan, who twists away from the oncoming defenders. 40 out. Still 4 tackles left in the set. Emmett again driving it in. And now Ackers carries with intent. Brierley throws it wide. Whiting, there's always danger here now when he has a clever pass on him as Chase Stanley finds and tries to flick away. Second time today, Chase Stanley just trying to create something that might not have been there. It's a knock on. It's Batley who should get the ball back again.
He's trying hard to get his winger away as best he can, isn't he? So there's Whiting with the offload, terrific offload. Chase Stanley goes into traffic and just a bit low for Palmer.
Recent signing, New Zealand international. I think he's got a cap to his name, hasn't he, Chase Stanley? Famous rugby league family. Had a few injury problems down his career, but hoping now that he'll be clear of all of those. Referee's not happy. Supposed to sort things out in the middle. He's having a chat. So Batley's chance to make some much needed yards here. Leak out of dummy half. Here's Leak. Looking left. The referee has given a forward pass, yes.
Must have thrown it down the hill.
James Brown, I think, was coming onto that, wasn't he?
He was.
Some big fellas in there, aren't there? Brown and Ward, the 2 men they brought on.
The timing of his run there, wrong.
So head and feet for Toronto here. 18.5 minutes played. 6-6 the score. Opportunity to build inside their opponent's half, and they're trying to make something happen in the shape of Worthington on that far side. Kay picks up and back towards the middle. McCrone, and now Buchanan steps away, but they were coming rushing in his face. Here's Ackers. Now Sims. Sidlow on the field as well. But it's Sims who gets up and plays. Ackers. This time left to McCrone. Quick hands from O'Brien. Whoa, and it's
Retty had to bat it down
by Wayne Retty.
Great hands. He had no other option, Retty. He's in no man's land. He was in between. Worthington had got his outside and was going to put Kay into the corner. Retty had to bat the ball down. There's Ackers. McCrone goes at the line. Bussy leading. Bryan finds Worthington, and it's a 2-on-1, and Retty has to come in and pat the ball down.
Well, all things being equal, it's another set of 6 here for Toronto, about 10 metres out from that Batley line. It's nicely balanced at the moment, midway through this first half, but is this one of those pivotal moments of the game? Worthington. There's the initial thrust. Ackers. Skimming it back to McCrone, and now Sims. Showing the ball to the defenders, and then trying the offload, is given away. Loops it up in the air. Leak shoots into position, gets the ball back, and what a bonus that is for Batley to get it back so early in the count.
Brilliant bonus.
And
You
that's
have to be alert. Smeaton was alert to the offload. Sims flicked it up really, which gave him every chance to get there. Here's Farrell on the charge.
Farrell's going to be held up 30 metres out from his own line, 20 from the halfway line, so they are making the meters. Again it comes to Brown, and Brown can't slip the ball away. Former Swinton man, he's been here now for 2 or 3 years. It's Leak. Again, he's prevented Sidler on that occasion, wrapping his arm up, making sure that that ball couldn't be offloaded to cause any more damage than it might. The kick from Brambani is down to the corner. O'Brien's across there, neatly trapped, and hands it on to Pownall, and he's given the task of taking on that very efficient Batley chase. They were up on him very quickly.
That was a great word, efficient. They got themselves together. They were lined up across the field. Very little opportunity for any speedster to find a fracture.
It's Kay in the middle of the park, who's playing in the second rower's role on that occasion. Here he is again. Now he's a dummy half, Liam Kay. Man for all seasons. Ackers. Sidlow. Honest endeavour from him. Good little flick pass away. Ackers does well to hold on. Now they probe on that left side. McCrone trying to hand defenders off, but they come swarming around him. Still one last play to go in the set. Here's the kick from O'Brien. It's an awkward one for Scott. He's done well with the bounce. The Toronto chase is good as well, but Scott's found the way through. Wonderful step from him, and support as well. It needed that recovering tackle from Pownall, otherwise Batley were away. Galbraith not happy with the treatment. What a step by Scott.
Well, it was a great cover tackle from Pownall. I don't know how he gets out of the way, but here's Scott. Dave Scott, he's been on fire all year. One of Batley's players makes a break there, finds Galbraith in support. Pownall all over him, which results in the penalty.
Scott by name and nature, Scottish international, born and bred in Stirling, enjoying his rugby league south of the border. And Batley at the moment enjoying this game, having got themselves back level, now finding themselves in a position to try to launch an attack again. Here's Brown. Strong carry. Sturdy tackle. James Davey. On from the bench, the dummy half. Slip back. This is good play. Scott's involved again. A chance now on this left-hand side for Crooks, who's bundled down. Great covering from Toronto. Got across there in numbers. Denying Batley the opportunity.
Well, they had to.
Here's Walker. Now it's Farrell. Farrell shrugs off one and another. Still going to that line. Just about held up. The Bulldog in the background. He's having a look here. He's getting as excited as everybody else. Davey skims it high. Walker now has a look again across the line. Brambani. Kay misses the tackle. Smeaton with a pass away. Retty back towards the middle. But a swarming defence again from Toronto.
Well, it has to be.
Breathless
Fire here,
stuff.
Batley. Here's the kick.
Brambani's kick towards his right-hand side, but it's watched out of play by Pownall, but attack and defence, breathless.
All that excitement, and then the kick just diffused the situation. There was no pressure on for them, but fantastic defence from the Wolfpack, and needed to be.
They were tested, they passed with flying colours, but Batley will be lifted. They'll want to get back down there, and quick. 6-6 it remains. Sidlow. You can hear the crunch of limb upon limb. These are 30, 40 mile an hour collisions, aren't they, at times, when they run hard at each other. Buchanan.
He's done some work this first half, Jack Buchanan.
He's lost it, penalty. Tom Grant, the referee. Ryan Brierley finds touch. Toronto start here with a tap. Just about 20 away from where they want to be. Sidlow will take them a little closer. Down on his elbows, gets up, wants to play it quickly. There's a bit of wrestle going on, but he manages to play the ball. Brierley across the line again and back on the inside for Hopkins to have a real go. Ackers. Hopkins sluggish to his feet. Out to Stanley on this right-hand side. It's a cul-de-sac that he was invited to run into. Brierley again. Hopkins. Still a couple of plays to go. Ackers springs away, has a go himself, but this time it's Batley's defence which is defiant. One left, Sidlow scoops left. Macron's kick to the in-goal area has to be dealt with, and it is diffused, but it's a dropout underneath the sticks.
Yep, stay there, smart play. Coach Rowley mentioned the fact about possession was crucial. So in theory, the Wolfpack get the ball back here. There's Brambani having to clean the kick up. Nice last play from the Wolfpack.
So there's still a lot of pressure to be experienced by this Batley defence, you'd think.
Well, they're taking their time.
Getting some much-needed breath back in their lungs, because they know what's coming next. O'Brien has to be careful, and is. And here comes Sidlow. Starts the engine into first and second gear quickly as he goes up the hill. And another big effort, this time from Hopkins.
He's put his hands up since he's been on the field.
Ackers. Buchanan. Forward pass to Bussey. So there's relief from Batley's point of view. They will get the scrum head and feed. Bussey can't believe it.
No, he's not happy. Let's have a look. To Buchanan.
I think it's what you coaches call a line ball, isn't it? A line ball.
You get some and you don't get some. The touch, you call that one.
So everyone's got a chance to get a bit of breath back themselves here, but immediately Smeaton trying to turn it into an attacking position for Batley. They are still inside their own half by 12 metres or so. Davey, young James Davey, began his career in Super League at Wakefield. I say young James Davey, he's late 20s these days. James Brown. Davey again. Walker. Him and his halfback partner Brambani have got 64 years between them. They're both 32 these days, but wonderfully experienced players, especially at this level in the Championship. They are great engines of a team, great drivers of a team. Comes left again to Walker. O'Brien's underneath, has to be careful. They're galloping towards him, but he's taken the ball and taken the ground, but then in turn he's taken back behind his own line by those defenders. And it's Toronto's turn to drop out underneath their own sticks.
I think he's asking, did he get the ball into the field of play? We'll see clearly here. It's a great chase from Batley. A great catch from O'Brien. Put him down and adjudicated that he's tackled in goal. So 6 more plays for the Wolfpack to defend. Smart play from Batley. Yep, hard to argue that, isn't it?
Yeah, just got him in there, just got him in there. So there's the dropout by O'Brien. And a little flick off the boot by Brambani, but he's got the time to pick it up and deliver onto Retty, who runs with all the enthusiasm that he'd expect. Davey. Brambani. Crossed the line again to Dane Manning. Mentioned earlier, played at Leeds, had 1 Super League appearance back in the day for Leeds. Walker's pass away. Harrison came on hard. Davey. Brambani's pass away. Smeaton on to Retty. Retty towards the corner. It's going to be dragged down, but the referee, I think, has seen a forward pass in amongst all the excitement there.
Both teams, I suppose, guilty of finding that final pass. He's gone there, Retty, but referee adjudicated that he was forward.
Oh, Batley!
So head and feed here for Toronto, and again hard yards to do. The advantage of the, I mean, Paul Rowley touched on it before the game, but for those viewers who didn't hear that, the advantage of going up and hill and down the hill, it's not black and white, is it? Coming down the hill can be just as difficult as playing up the hill.
Well, your timing's different on the carry. It's more get the ball early, pick a hole and ramp your way down there and kick the ball coming up the hill. Again, more often than not, it can be easier because your timing onto the ball's a little bit better.
Whiting. And if you've not got the ball going up the hill, you've got to keep getting back these 10 metres as well, don't you?
Yeah.
You're climbing all the time. 5 gone, here comes the 6. Acker's out of dummy half, comes right, and Briley just looking for the touchline again and finds it very effectively. Rattles against the advertising hoardings. It'll give Batley the ball, but only about 20 from their own line.
Both teams happy to walk to the scrum, regather themselves. Batley will be pleased with where they're at.
Well, we saw an incident being put on report a little bit earlier, and this is what we've seen. Is there contact? Well, there you see Liam Kay just catching the touch judge, and that's why it's been put on report. They'll have a look at that to see if it was anything but accidental, but I have to say, having a look at that, it just did look accidental,
Yeah,
didn't
it
it?
was accidental.
Yeah. Here's Davey out of dummy half to his right-hand side again, and Ward trundling on. Gather a little bit of momentum on this ground, and it doesn't half help. Now Brown skipping in. Bussey helping just knock him over there. Buchanan finishing it off. Walker. They've reached the 40-metre mark, but they've only got one play to go here, Batley. Walker again. O'Brien settles himself. Pouched comfortably. Kay's there in support. Decides to take them on himself. Smashed down by Manning. Had a couple of years when they threatened promotion, did Batley. 2 years back they finished in the top 4. They were in the middle 8s. They were within a couple of games potentially of promotion back then. It didn't quite work for them, but that's the kind of ground they occupy on a perennial basis, Batley, just nibbling away at the heels of the favourites, and in a good year with a win behind them they can do even better than that. So you never take Batley lightly, and Toronto haven't. 6th tattle the next, 6-6 the scoreline. Briley again just looking for the touchline, just looking to push them back inside their own half. It's the Bulldogs' head and feet.
Yeah, smart play again for a sideline. Clearly looking for that. Very middle orientated at the moment, isn't it? Bash up the hill and bash down the hill.
It's Paul Rowley, the Toronto coach, watching on. Scrum is set, out it comes, eventually, just delayed at the foot. First take is by Smeaton.
They're trying to sneak an offside play there from the scrum, but Wolfpack defenders.
Here's Retty coming on at pace again. Wayne Retty. Davey. Harrison. So they're going through the tackles here, but they're still short of the 40-metre mark. Harrison gets up and plays. Now Brown smashing it in, or trying to smash it in, but there's 3 in black waiting for him to smash back as well, and Davey comes back. The pass may be miscued, but it's picked up smartly by Brambani to get the kick away. O'Brien with the tap. The defenders come running at him, but O'Brien has managed to scramble his way to 32 yards away from his own line before he's stopped. This is Pownall. Oh, he's lost. No, referee says play on. Play on. Another set. There was a touch there from a Sheffield player. Batley player. A Batley player. The touch from a Sheffield player. That would have caused confusion.
It's an opportunity. In his first half.
Hopkins. A little bit of fortune in terms of having these extra tackles now. Toronto, can they make the most of them? Whiting. Oh, it's a forward pass. against Briley this time, who looks around in complete bewilderment. I think it was a touch judge who gave that again.
It was. Both teams guilty now of not nailing their skill. Can't blame the Hill for this one. There we go. Here's the Pownell carry where there's a adjudicated that, yep, Batley hands all over it, so back to 6, play on. Referee's got that one right.
So Patch Walker will feed this. We've only got about 5 minutes left of the half. Remember that clock down on the left-hand side is a kind of an indicator. It's not the official time, and in fact the official clock is to our left. Brian Nobles has pointed it out, and it's running pretty close to what our clock's telling you as well. Just about 4.5 minutes and a nibble more left to play. Davey, if Batley can get a score before half-time, that will lift them enormously. Toronto looking at the very least a holdout here as Harrison, the try scorer, takes it in. Halfway line that. Manning. Here's Davey. And Barney's just sneaked to his right, but it comes left and lost by James Brown. Well, I don't think his teammates will be too happy with him for that. There's a pat on the head, but it has given cheap possession back to Toronto.
Well, they were all set for their big play of that particular set of 6. There you see numbers in and around the ball carrier, but keep hold of the ball, James, otherwise it doesn't come off.
So what would be a great camera angle would be right here with us, looking at the people walking past and their facial expressions as they go, because they tell the tale of the game. A Batley fan has just walked past and looked at us and raised his eyebrows as if to say, good heavens, what's he done there? Knocked on. So Toronto have possession. That's Worthington. Up he gets. Back to Bussey. Bussey spun. Dealt with. Eventually up to play. Sims fancies a go. And he gets a good offload as well to Ackers. And now Buchanan, and along the line to Whiting, and Whiting looking to time this back on the inside for Stanley, who cuts away from a couple of defenders. The ball back to the middle is a loose one, and Batley having back. An opportunity is spilt by the Wolfpack. It's getting a little frustrating. Three minutes to go. Crooks. Brambani, Harrison further right. Here's Smeaton. They're lifting him and carrying him, and there's no cry of held, I don't think. No, there wasn't. It was a very legitimate act by the defenders. Got their man and carried him out of play.
Yeah, he got caught with his feet still on the ground, so he's not adjudicated that he's tackled or held, so they can keep him moving, the defenders. There he is, still trying to promote the ball, so he's at his feet, and the Wolfpack just take him out, gang tackling.
Yeah, feet were still on the ground, weren't they? He wasn't carried out. So it's a big win for the defence, and those defenders now turn into attackers potentially. Really tough Easter weekend, the Friday and the Monday, but you talk to people like Brian and others around the game, it's this game where the fatigue really tells, when you're backing up a third game in 8 days, especially with the travel involved as well, to France and back for Toronto's point of view. Whiting with the offload, Ackers back on the inside. Galloping run by Hopkins is halted on the 30-metre mark. Sims now left to McCrone. McCrone delays it and out to Bussey, and Retty with the interception. They ain't going to catch him, I don't think, unless Briley gets there. Looking to go the road, Briley's covering here, but Retty just had the head start. In the end, he has to dive to score and hurts his elbow in the process, but he's broken the heart of Toronto with that interception. And 60-yard dash, the shoulder hurts, but the pride and joy intact from the score that has given Batley the lead for the first time today.
Let's hope he's okay. Crone goes up the line, Bussey trying to find the pass, Retty sees it, gets in, the 3-2 Wolfpack defender, and he's off. Being chased by Briley and Kay, they can't get there, the big dive, and oh boy, I think he's dislocated his shoulder there, I'm honest. So So here's the play, Sims, Macron, Bossy, trying to find the pass. Retty picks him off, pinches his pocket, and he's down the hill, and he's gone. Watch this finish. Oh.
Did he need to dive, Brian? Did he need this level of pain to give his team a score?
He's probably thinking, not at this moment in time, Dave. Probably thinking, I wish I'd just slid in. But I think he popped his shoulder there.
Those of a nervous disposition just look away because they'll just be putting it back in. That's the way they roll. Just dislocate your shoulder, son, no problem. Just look away, we'll pop it back in for you. So he might be able to carry on. But smiles on faces for his teammates because his heroics there have given his side a lead. When he caught that ball, you thought try. Absolutely no problem, try. But the pace of Ryan Brierley.
He tried his best.
Nearly got there.
Best wasn't good enough.
Let's have a look at
Here's
this.
the play again.
Ryan Brierley there, the number 7. So it's a standing start for him, and Retty's got 60 yards to cover. Brierley's probably got 80 yards to cover, and he very nearly gets there, and that's why Retty feels he has to dive at the end. I think he could have just fallen over the line, but he felt he had to dive. He would have heard the thundering footsteps, and on a sunny day, you would have seen the shadow lengthening behind him. Still being treated, by the way.
It's a huge lift for Batley, isn't it, as they go into the half?
Yeah. Massive, isn't
Coach
it?
Diskin will be saying, wow, we've got our noses in front now, extra vigour, vim into their defensive work to keep this Wolfpack team out, try and prize a few scores themselves coming up the hill. The kicking game becomes vitally important for both teams. It's so hard to break each other's lines, and Retty's up here, he's moving out. I think they'll be genuinely coming off the field.
Well, it's still hurting. A few deep breaths. Careful, careful, you go, Wayne. There's Matt Diskin, the coach. There's the kick from Walker, which has made it 2 out of 2 for him today, and 12 points to 6. Batley now lead the game, and coach Matt Diskin, grand final winner with the Leeds Rhinos, is a coach who sees his side in the lead at half-time here. What a start the Wolfpack made, but how well have Batley responded to get it back to a 12.6 lead at half-time, Brian Noble.
Yeah, they were tough. Both teams were tough. Brilliant finish there for Retty. Tried before and nearly plucked one out of the sky. He's not looking too flush there, unfortunately for him. I don't think he'll play a part in the second half, but could be surprised. But full credit Batley. They stayed in the game. They've been organised. Both teams guilty of a little bit of poor skill.
Let's hear from Adam Sidlow, the prop forward for Toronto. He's with Matt Shaw right now.
Adam, what are your thoughts on that first half?
We're not respecting the ball enough. We're giving them way too much possession, and giving them possession coming downhill is going to be hard for any team. So we just got to respect the ball, like I said, and we'll be better in the second half.
How hard is it proving to be going up the hill?
Well, it's got its reputation, hasn't it, going uphill. So I thought we nullified that, kicking in touch, slowing the game down. But just pushing passes, too many offloads, that's going to hurt us, and it showed too in the end there.
That said, the fact that you are only 6 points behind and now you get to go down the hill, can you take some satisfaction out of that at all?
We're not satisfied that we're losing at half time. We had a plan and it's not worked to some degree, but we'll rectify that in the second half.
Thanks, Adam.
Yeah, cheers, mate.
Top man, thank you.
So, half-time here, and Batley Bulldogs supporters in great heart at the moment because they feel their side have produced some good stuff in that first half, which they had. Is there going to be a Toronto reaction in the second half? We shall see, but half-time at Mount Pleasant, the Foxes Biscuit Stadium, and it's Batley who lead by 12 points to 6.
Watch top-level European Speedway every week on Free Sports. With some of the sport's top stars riding in the richest and most popular speedway league in the world, the Polish Extraliga. Well, what an absolutely fantastic race that was. See freesports.tv for weekly schedules.
In Compton, you join a gang, or you find another way to survive. My horse was headed to the slaughterhouse when I got her. I think maybe, did I save the horse, or did the horse save me?
Guinness, some are made of more.
But I'm not jet-setting around the world. I'm making these handsome little fellas, which capture me at my best. Look, it's me but tiny. My mate said I should build a website and flog them online. So when I found GoDaddy, I thought, bingo! Designed and built in less than an hour. And customer service is great if you get stuck. Hello, Freddie. Hello. Preston School's under-11 chess champion. Boom. Start building your business with a GoDaddy website.
New intelligent technologies, new design. The new Nissan Qashqai. Expect more. The Nissan Qashqai N Connector with glass roof. Now available from £199 per month at 0% APR representative. Search Nissan Qashqai or visit your local dealer to find out more.
Introducing Shark's incredible cordless vacuum with powerful suction for a deep clean. Duo Clean adds a rotating soft brush so you can grab large particles, pull in piles and directly engage with floors with no stopping to switch heads. Plus Flexology gives easy under furniture cleaning, above floor reach and handheld versatility. 2 rechargeable batteries mean you can charge whilst you clean and park wherever you wish. Shark brilliant.
Why did you choose to teach?
Salut. Bonjour.
What makes fireworks different colours?
Right, we're going to increase the pressure.
Be bold, show courage, have a go.
Je m'habille. What does it mean?
So what do we think? You were right the first time.
Super, 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 super. Schwing. And that's why I chose to teach.
You could get £26,000 tax-free to train. Search Apply to Teach.
Sammy.
Oh, Sammy. So we've had a severe leak. Parents en route, and time is running out. Lucky for you, they called Direct Line. Your plumber's been, so let's put this plan into action. Pineapple shirt, Little Willie will size the place up. Mango, Big Will's on dry up. Kumquat, Agatha's on the heavy stuff. Are we, Crystal?
Yeah.
This little shindig never happened.
Wouldn't it be nice to have all the pleasures of outdoors indoors? Crocodile glass verandas are uniquely designed to fit your home. Let you feel outside and inside at the same time. Call 08000 112200 to see how Crocodile could transform your home with a bespoke glass veranda for undercover al fresco Crocodile style.
Hey, 1 pack of razors, please.
Comes to 1965.
What? That's a lot.
Yeah, I don't... Comes with a free gift.
Oh, free gift? That's cool.
Tired of getting beat up by high razor prices? Incredible shaving products for just a few bucks at dollarshaveclub.com. Oh, free gift.
Of course I've heard of Yopa. They make it so easy to sell your home with your own dedicated local agent and all for a low fixed fee. And with Yopa's no sale, no fee plan, you don't have to pay a penny until your home is sold. I would definitely use Yopa, but my home is on Mo Farah's daily running route.
See you tomorrow, Joe.
See you tomorrow, Mo.
Yopa. Seriously, why not?
At Expedia, if you book your flight and your hotel together, you could save. Expedia, Atoll Protected.
It's beautifully done. There's a great hit and a goal for Sao Paulo. That is what the crowd demanded. And that's the pop side.
The 2018 Copa do Brasil. Live and free on Free Sports.
So Wayne Retty's game is over, but a little thumbs up for the camera as he rather gingerly walks away, having scored that try just before the break, which gives us the scoreline that we have at the moment. Batley 12, Toronto 6, and it's going to be a downhill struggle, as Brian Noble quite cleverly described it in our half-time analysis, because Toronto playing down the hill in this second half, and they'll have to make the most of it. Respect the ball more is the line we heard from within the camp. Toronto fans here today. There's a wonderful little group of fans that travel around, loyal Toronto supporters, and that will be boosted by about 10,000 or so, of course, when they get back to the Lamport Stadium in Toronto in how long now? About 4 or 5 weeks from here?
I think we'll go visit in May, the first week in May, come back here for 3 weeks, and then it's about 6 or 7 weeks in Toronto.
There's McCrone, try scorer. First half. Batley players getting a bit of a bigger cheer as they emerge from that dressing room as well. A little bit of juggling around of positions as well, given that Retty is now off. So be interested to see how they reassess and re-establish.
Well, it's a fine line, Dave, between playing and just to explain to our viewers in relation to why people offload and why people to promote in second phase. It's a fine line between playing and completely closing your game down. The dynamics of this field insist you've got to do some ball carrying because it gets you further down the field, but at some stage you have to play as well and take a chance on trying scoring a try.
Yeah. And although Toronto as a team have never played here, there's certainly a sprinkling of players within that group who will have played here, understand the dynamics of what they're up against. We've seen some very big clubs. I remember a Challenge Cup tie when Huddersfield were in their pomp coming here and very nearly getting rolled over against Batley because they didn't handle the field properly. That would have been a big cup upset. As it happened, Huddersfield just about hung on. So reputations fall easily on this ground as the match is underway again. O'Brien's right boot sets it in that direction, and Michael Ward is the first to bring it back for Batley at the start of this second half. Just having a look out there, I think young Harrison, has he moved into the centres?
That's right, yeah. I think Galbraith's gone onto the wing, has he? Or Smeaton's gone onto the wing.
Smeaton on the wing, so I think that's the readjustment on this right-hand side for Batley. Anyway, they have possession at the moment. Manning. Wrestle to the ground. Davey waits at dummy half. A trundle forward again by Brown, so 3 of the interchange players involved in that little cameo. Davey, and here comes Ward, who's another of the interchange players, and he gets a penalty as well. So that's a real lift for Batley because they're coming towards the end of the count.
Brilliant.
And they have a penalty
5.
on the halfway.
Brilliant on play 5 for Batley. Up the ball up the hill. Walker will take the meters, adjudicating the whitings around the head there.
Patch Walker puts it out. Davey with a tap to restart it again. Here comes Walker again, back on the inside to Farrell, who shows the ball as if he was going to pass, and then takes on the line, who are not fooled. Meet him in a muscular fashion. Davey, and inside for Walker. Some defending to do for Toronto right at the start of this half. 90 seconds played. Brambani now loops it up in the air. Little flick back by Brown to keep it alive. Manning comes to this right-hand side, but wrestled to the ground by McCrone. Couple of plays to go. Here's Walker. Dummies. Whiting says, I'm not buying. And his tackle is good. Farrell. Well, this is the last play now.
Here's
They found themselves.
Here's the kick. Here's Walker. Is he going to put it on somebody's head or on the ground? On the head.
It's a decent leap in the air. Worthington, I think that was, wasn't it, in the end, who leapt up and catches it safely, and Toronto survived that first spell of pressure and begin to bring it clear. We get the delights of watching Toronto, whoever they're playing every week in the championship, but as a lot of people have been saying, it's a wonderful competition. It would be great to see even more of the championship, and if you're a Toronto fan, you're not complaining too much because you get to see them on a weekly basis. Sims the latest to take it in. Brierley puts it back, and quick hands again. So Brian, who was left on the floor, and the referee is mindful to give a penalty here for Toronto.
This is adjudicating the penalties for.
High tackle.
Keep being keen on that, you have to say. He's been consistent, but keen. Let's have a look.
There we go, yep.
Can't run without your head.
So the kick is a decent one. 40 metres out, Toronto start their set here. Started well in the first half. Looking to replicate in the second. Sidlow tackled, legs just kept below the perpendicular, otherwise that could have been a penalty. Hopkins passes away to Sims. Ackers. Sidlow. Keeping that arm loose. Nobody in passable position. So Ackers collects and darts out again, and a little dummy by him and goes running hard, but Davey, opposite number, both in position and in terms of what's on his back, making the tackle a good one. Brierley, Sims, McCrone, and spins it away. O'Brien's quick pass. Worthington's going to be held up, but very close on tackle 5.
All on the kick. Here we go.
McCrone again tries to slide it through. He's kicked it straight at James Brown, and wow, he feels good.
The best last play.
Batley, though, starting from deep. 2 gone. Davey. It's a day that started with sunshine. There's a heaviness to the atmosphere at the moment. Might be a rain burst on its way. Those on the field not too concerned about that at the moment. They know that there's a heaviness to the atmosphere of this game as well. It's nicely balanced. Could go either way. Back it comes to Brambani, whose kick is from behind the 40-metre mark, but it just holds up. O'Brien's happy about that and collects and hurls it back now for Pownall to try and straighten up this chasing Batley defence. Brambani up there to make the tackle. Good work by the half. Kay. Worthington. This is Bussey. Quick play the ball, good work. Ackers again, coming on at pace on that occasion. Still a couple.
The kind of field position that they've been trying to create with their backfield players, they get there.
Brierley out and quick hands from both O'Brien and Stanley, and it might have got Pownall away, and he's very, very close. And then Chase goes out of dummy half, and he's going to be tackled. So Batley hang on, and Toronto will hand it over in a decent position from their point of view, but would have preferred the try here.
Playing the short side, Gareth O'Brien, Stanley quick hands, Pownall beats 2 defenders. And, he's caught short with a tackle from Walker. Chase Stanley backs himself, Batley defence up to it.
There were a couple of waiting, weren't there? So it's going to be Davey. Dummy half. Carried in by Michael Ward, the Irish international from Oldham. Here's Davey. Spun along, and Harrison comes in from that right centre's position. Brambani. Here's Brown. But they're on the last. They're still inside their own 40. They're on the last. So the kick from Brambani puts plenty of leather behind that as well. Lands awkwardly betwixt and between. Across comes Pownall to pick up and begin to gallop back again, but his slip has made him an easy target.
Made him an easy tackle.
Kay. Little dummy, and he's ripped his way through here, Liam Kay. McCrone's trying to get up there and support Kay. He's done terrifically well. They're less than 30 away, and they've got momentum rolling down the hill. Sidlow. O'Brien across to Brierley, and now Chase Stanley. Stanley out to Pownall. Pownall! He's put out of play with a tackle over in the corner.
Great defence. Superb tackle. Galbraith flew across. They try to get the speed of movement on the hands of Wolfpack, and on the back of this K break, Holmes his legs and he's gone. Scott to beat, doesn't beat him, plays the ball quickly. And it's just Jay Stanley trying to put Johnny Pownall away. Galbraith, a super tackle.
That's painful corner, that, isn't it? You know, we saw Retty getting the dislocated. Everyone who ventures towards that corner tends to come off a second best. You don't want to go there. It's a metaphor for rugby league. You've got to be brave to get in that corner. But it's Batley who had possession. 10 from their own line. 12-6 the lead. Opening 10 minutes of this second half. They're battling hard. Davey, Harrison. Trying to spring up as quickly as he can, and Davey comes out again from dummy half and they advance. Galbraith. Lost it. Knock on, referee says quite clearly, knock on. And Lewis Galbraith, the ex-Rochdale man, who had a spell in Australia as well, a couple of years in Australia, has given up possession here.
He's a fine shape, isn't he?
And a talk.
Can't do that in rugby league.
Somebody said something out of line here, so instead of it just being a scrum, it's now a penalty for Toronto. One of the Batley players has said something that he shouldn't have done to Mr. Grant. Emmett putting in the minutes. Ackers out of acting half again, and here's Ashton Sims trying to barge his way through the barn door that is the Batley defence at the moment. It holds firm, creaks on its hinges, but it's holding firm. O'Brien with a bit of zip and zap, and has he got it down? Yeah, yes, he has.
Got that down.
Yes, he has. The referee points the finger. It's a smiling Gareth O'Brien, because he's just got his side back within 2 points. Sims was trying to knock the door off the hinges. O'Brien climbed through the window. They'd left that open, and it's a try.
And it's a good try. They load up the open side. Ackers lies here. See, yes, we're going open. No, Gareth O'Brien comes back to the other side, and Bram Barney's trying to solve a problem they didn't have there. And it's one-on-one with O'Brien and Davey, and he takes Davey over the line, wriggles and writhes and gets the ball down. Good try, Gareth O'Brien.
And a big kick here for Ryan Briley. Gareth O'Brien, the try scorer there. He's one of your new signings, isn't it? I mean, how difficult has it been this year in terms of bringing new players in? You lost the 3 players before the season started, but bringing new players in and bedding them in as the season goes on.
Well, it's not easy, but it's a nice luxury to have, isn't it? The rebuild at the start, middle third of the season, going towards the halfway now, and also the fluidity will come later. And it's important because this division is all about the last 8 weeks of the season.
So Ryan Briley just keeping his mind on the job here with a good kick. Oh, he's put it wide. Well, from where I thought that had gone over actually, but the touch judges said it had gone wide, and they were flagging very quickly there, so they clearly saw it. There's no complaint from Ryan Briley on the field, so I think it was just my eyes that.
Let's have a look.
Have a look at this. Look at this.
Yeah,
I think it had gone behind the sticks before it had gone through, if you know what I mean.
Optical illusion for you, Dave.
There's been a couple of controversies here, hasn't there, down the years, with kicks that coaches thought had gone over or hadn't. Match winners. I think it was one against Bradford, wasn't there? Batley against Bradford a couple of years back. But anyway, it is as it is. 12-10, Batley lead, 2 points in it, but Toronto have got the bit between their teeth now. They rather fancy this task. Can Batley lift again in response? Ackers. Here's Emmett again. Just a machine in the middle, isn't he? A little dummy shown there by Meitua, who's on the field. The pass away, the ball stolen, out of a tackle. The referee says you can't do that. He has a stern word and gives a penalty to Toronto.
It's Galbraith again, isn't it? He was adjudicated to have stolen this ball. So Rennie Meitua.
Well, there's 2 men in the tackle. One falls off. And it's stolen.
Adjudicated the tackle was complete as well.
Yeah. So Ackers with a tap. Toronto start 40 metres out. Emmett again. Here's Ackers. Sims to his left. Puts it back to McCrone. Carries it into the line. O'Brien testing out the resolve. Harrison with a good tackle down by the ankles. Now it comes left, and Worthington with a skip and a jump. 10 away. Toronto 10 away. Try puts them in the lead for the first time in quite a while. McCrone. Here's Briley. Briley to O'Brien again. He puts the dummy on. He's in again. He's in again. They're going to have to start locking those windows because he keeps finding a way into that try zone with a little dummy and a sharpness of step. And now Toronto lead 14-10.
Well, great movement from the Wolfpack. McCrone goes at the line initially, and then Briley. And Gaz O'Brien with a big see you later. Left-hand fence, so there's McCrone at the line, attracting defenders. Briley the same. The move on, there's Walker, I think it is, that gets caught on his inside shoulder on the right step, and left-hand fend of Gareth O'Brien.
Well, the game has changed in nature in the blink of an eye, in the twinkle of the sure-footedness of Gareth O'Brien. 2 tries in 3 minutes.
Just for our viewers, Wolfpack have a lot of possession in the right parts of the field, have defended well on Batley coming up the hill, so fielded the kicks of Brambani and Walker and regathered their momentum and getting down the field, and the penalty is crucial because it keeps them moving forward.
So Briley just settles himself here. Look to the sticks, look to the ball, strikes it well. What about this time? No, wide again. So 14 points to 12. They're sitting back, but they're not settling on this at the moment, Toronto. It's still up for grabs, one way or the other.
Just get him a one-on-one on Walker, and unfortunately even Brad Day can't get there and help. That's what Matt Diskin would have been hoping for. In the blink of an eye, it's reversal on the scoreboard. But there's still plenty of time in this game.
So here come Toronto again, and Batley desperate to get hold of the ball. They've been starved of possession in these last few minutes because Toronto keeps scoring tries and getting it back. Ackers. Sims to his right. Ackers uses that as a foil, but not quite bought by the defence. Now Sims. Bludgeoning effort from him, denting the wall of the Batley resolve. It's Emmett. Good tackle. Michael Ward, solid on solid. Briley puts it high, he's bumped to the ground by Farrell. The referee's got his arm in the air to say he's seen that and play on. And Briley stayed down. He's going to need a bit of treatment, I think, but Batley are allowed to continue. The referee said there was nothing wrong in that, so Batley looking to bring it clear. Harrison taking on Kay.
Very expansive there, Batley, weren't they?
On
Passing the ball on their own line. Oh, the juggle.
There's Crooks. Here's the kick. And just a bit of a shoulder in there, but all's fair in love and rugby league at times. Davey. Rowe. Alex Rowe pounding it up there and getting a good offload as for Davey to sneak another couple of metres out of that. Rowe stayed down, Sims has stayed down. I think they felt each other's presence in the game there. The kick's not the best. O'Brien will catch it, and he's streaking towards the halfway line, and he's going to get to the halfway line and get a pass away to Pownall, who comes searching back towards the middle, and Farrell does a job of ragging a hold of him and making that tackle count. But Maitua brings it on, and Kay now. It's the outside backs who are wreaking havoc here. 2 tackles gone, and they're within 30 metres of where they want to be. Ackers. Emmett. Prop forward sidestep. 20 metres out. Ackers again. Buchanan. Back to Briley, who passed it at Maitua, who was in the way of where I think Briley wanted that ball to go. It's gone to ground, and this will be a 0 tackle. The referee says there was no great advantage there for Batley, so they go back to where the original knock-on took place. Head and feet for Batley.
Well, he goes up the line there, and I mean, the two is on top of him. It's not really the pass he can make.
Everybody taking a chance here to have a bit of a breather. And a physical start to the second half. In the ball goes. We've still got 23 minutes left to play. Toronto teetering on the edge of a victory here, leading by 2 points and keeping Batley down there at the moment. But there's a man down in back play, and the referee has given a penalty. Not square at the marker. They've got a bit of pace on there, did Batley, which has given them that penalty kick, and now it's found touch as well, so they can march the ball back inside the Toronto half for the start of this set.
That's their first goal this second half, in this half, isn't it, for Batley?
Sam Smeaton's just used up a bit of energy, taking that tap quickly and being told he has to go back again. He's not happy. Brambani goes left. Push forward here by Holland, Tom Holland. Just over the 40-metre mark on tackle one. Rowe with a big heavy drive. Batley fans are finding their voice again, sensing an opportunity knocking for their side. Brambani to Walker, whose pass is unusually poor from a man of such high quality.
Yeah, he's got a bit of time there and he's trying to get the fluidity that they haven't had. Play three, getting rid of the ball. Better player than that is Walker, but can't find the pass.
Diskin was on the radio. Toronto, sun's coming out again here. Wind turbines still not turning, by the way.
Because there's no wind.
Yep. Not because they forgot to switch it on, as you were suggesting.
No, but to get them going, they have electrically they have to be started.
Do they?
Yeah.
Toronto have been switched on in this second half. They're producing a bit of energy. Cliche. So it's they who get possession here. Eventually. Why are we taking all this time here?
I think there's a couple of injuries. Ed Knox is certainly one still here on the going here. There's a blood situation for Worthington.
He's okay. He's okay. Bit of a bandage, he's okay. And it means that we can get on with the game right now. Toronto with a head and feet here, leading as they do by 14 points to 12, but with still 20 minutes plus some to go in this game. They're going back top of the league if it stays like this or improves. Liam Kay wanted a penalty, gets the penalty.
Yeah, they weren't square. Got to play the same rules for both teams. Cut Bussey out further down the field for not square. James Davey, smart play. Acker's the same. Quick play the ball from Kay. And
there's the kick to touch for O'Brien, which has given Toronto a starting position 40 metres out. Here's Briley to Sims, and Sims bustling up. Bumpers were up there trying to blockade his way through. 35 out. Emmett again, stepping back off that left foot, searching for an inside gap, finding only a tackle. Ackers now, he'll carry with intent up to the 10-metre mark. So they've still got 3 tackles to go here. And they've lost the ball. Ackers pointing at Davey to say he stole it, referee. But the rest having none of that, and he's given the decision against the Wolfpack.
Well, let's have a look. Goes into traffic. There's the ball. There's the ball. Look after the ball. What do you think?
What do you think?
I think it's come out of the speed that it did. Somebody's had a hand in there, but look after the ball.
Well, whatever we think, it doesn't matter, because the referee has given the head and feet at the scrum to Batley, and it's a bit of a grind at the moment. Those 2 tries in the blink of an eye in 3 minutes from Gareth O'Brien has given Toronto the advantage, but they're back in a battle again here now. And Batley wanting to work their way back upfield again. Harrison appearing over in that left-hand side now. Davey waits at his feet. Back it comes to Farrell, who's taking on the combined might of Bussey and Emmett with a little help from Buchanan. Big collisions going on. Big efforts from both sides. Davey, Brambani. Search for the centre ground again. Holland up and plays. Here's Brambani, he's out of the 40, so there's no concern in that measure from Toronto's point of view. Pownall will catch it on the full anyway, and it's looking for a good return.
Well, I think the Toronto backfield has been good this week in relation to cleaning balls up and finding players like this on the next one. Kay, Pownall and O'Brien combining really well.
There's Kay, the other winger. Sims has gone off for a spell on the sidelines. Toronto have brought on a interchange player. I think it's Hopkins who's coming on, and they're moving forward here with Emmett, and Emmett just threatening to burst his way through. Ackers putting in the big minutes in the absence of Bezic, and now it's Buchanan who's proving a handful, and he's still going here, still going. He might not be making meters very quickly, but he's making meters. I think he made about 10. Tackle when it looked as though he'd been stopped, and it's given Toronto the front foot for O'Brien to claim a hat-trick. Gareth O'Brien is in for his hat-trick try. All three in this second half, and in 12 glittering, glorious minutes, Gareth O'Brien has garnered 12 points for himself.
Well, there's a theme for our viewers, and it's going at this right-hand side of the Toronto attack, going at the left-hand side of the Batley defence, and they just can't handle O'Brien. They've got no answer when he comes out the back of O'Brien, and because his speed injecting into the line again off his right foot and inside shoulder, and for a super hat-trick on that right-hand side at the start of this second half.
Well, he's new to the team, but the team are glad he's with them, because that hat-trick has made the difference in this second half against a battling Batley team. 18-12 the lead now. It's still not comfortable, but it's edging that way, and Briley can certainly take it a good distance into the comfort zone if he kicks this, because that would make it a 2-score game. So it's a big one. It's a big one for Ryan Briley. Trying a goal puts Batley level at this stage, but if Briley puts this one over, then suddenly his side are in much better control of the circumstances. Missed the last couple, but he's a good goal kicker, is Ryan Briley, and he doesn't miss that one. That really did matter, and over it goes, and it's 20 points to 12 now. Toronto lead.
Well, that's been the just rewards. Here we see the play, Briley going at the line, and again he just dips his right shoulder and steps off his right foot and beats the Batley defence.
Walker with a restart, high and hanging. Macron underneath it with a safe catch, and back it comes in the shape of Sam Hopkins. It's a very big shape as well, isn't it, Sam Hopkins? Buchanan, strong carry by him, good carry, really good carry.
It was his carry before the play that's got led to the try.
One-handed pick-up from Ackers, and look at this, they've crossed the halfway line. With only 3 tackles gone, Maitua picks up from dummy half. Here comes Emmett now, and Emmett looking into the eyes of the opposition and taking them on fair and square. He's left 2 on the ground as he gets up and plays it, and Ackers goes springing away again. Well, they're on the 5th, but they're only 20 metres out. Last play, Briley again. Maitua's in the line, a good spin by him, flicks it back to Briley. Keeping it alive, Worthington though, sandwiched between a couple of defenders. And Batley get it back, but right in that corner again. Worst corner of the field, right in the dip.
Even you don't like that field, do you?
I don't like that corner.
That corner, I mean, sorry, yeah. You like the field.
I love the field, love the ground. It's just that corner. So Batley looking to bring it out again. 14.5 minutes of this contest to go. Atmosphere is one that is just a little bit not quite as sharp as it might be. That the locals are maybe beginning to lose a little bit of self-belief, and that one, oh, it will do because it's a penalty. Well, suddenly the locals have something to be encouraged about, because Batley have a penalty.
It's for a steal, but was it one-on-one? There's nobody else in the tackle as yet, so he steals the ball, he's allowed to do that.
He should be allowed to do that, but the referee said it was 2 in the tackle. So the penalty has been taken, and Brambani helps it on, and there's a big hit there on the advancing Tom Holland. Davey. Manning, inside ball, and Brambani goes back out to Harrison, who almost works a passage between a couple of Toronto defenders. Davey. Brambani scuttling across into the line, and Walker shaping the inside ball to Scott, but going outside instead. Read by Toronto. There's more reading to do, more hard work to do as Scott goes left on that far side, and just about held up here. Crooks gets up and plays. Now it's hurled back. Walker all the way to Brambani. They've put a big shift on here from that left-hand side to the right-hand side. Smeaton puts the kick in, but it's going to be dropped on and collected, and Toronto have the ball back.
Have to defend it. Worthington's gone down on his haunches in the corner.
Oh, there's something going on in back play, but there's something going on in play with Bussey. Well, made the break, smashed into 2 of them. That ball comes clear. The referee says penalty, and it's all getting a bit spiky here at the moment. The referee just has to put his control on here. Have a look at this.
I don't know who he's having a word with, so there's a break from Bussey. Nothing wrong with that. He's gone. Smeaton's got a hold of him.
Has he given a shoulder charge?
I think he might have done, yeah. Well, there's the break from Bussey. Fowl's come in with a shoulder.
Can't do that. You could once upon a time, but you can't do that now, can you?
Do that now.
So the Batley fans are not happy with that decision and what it's led to, but it's given Toronto a really excellent position again here. 35 metres out of the start of the set with that penalty kick to touch, and here's Emmett again. Ackers comes left, McCrone, O'Brien. Brick wall ahead. Shape of Harrison on that occasion. McCrone again. Here's Buchanan. 15 away. Ackers. 4 to his left, many more to the right. They're going to go right this time to the big side of the field. Emmett's pass away to Briley. Briley onto O'Brien, and here comes Stanley. Plays in the bag, and they're still close. Briley. Dummy put on by Hopkins. Ackers on the last play in the set. Briley looked to kick and then passes to McCrone. McCrone with a short pass, and Bussey arrows through. He saw that gap and he wasn't going to miss. Wasn't Jack Bussey. Hurled himself through, and Toronto now have a much more comfortable lead.
Well, they decide to run the ball on the last play. They're expecting Briley to kick. He doesn't. He fakes the kick and he takes off. Watch this. I'm going to kick. No, I'm not. Goes at the line. Finds McCrone, and Bussey on a good line. It's hard to stop for there. He started the break initially and got the penalty and finishes it. There's the play. There's the pass between the halves, and Bussey back against the grain, back on an inside shoulder, finishing the play.
Scott was on a hiding to nothing there, wasn't he? Because he was already in the in-goal area when he tried to make the tackle. But it was, as you said, that line, a terrific line from Bussey.
Yeah, just saying what he did there, came back, back against the grain. He's telling us all the viewers who were watching this, that's what I did, came back against the grain.
It's another big kick here. At the moment it's 2 scores still. 2 tries, 2 goals. Batley can get something from the game, but it'll just edge even further away from their grip here if Briley kicks. And don't forget, Batley haven't scored in this second half. That Wayne Retty 60-yarder at the end of the first half was the last time they managed to get points on the board. So coming downhill, Toronto have had an unstoppable momentum, and Briley puts it over for 3 out of 5 in the game so far, and 22-12 they now lead this match by. Sorry, 26-12 they now lead this match by.
3 scores. Batley going to have to create. And to be fair, the Wolfpack defence has been strong enough to suggest that they might just not have enough time with 11 minutes to play.
So they've gone short, and it might come up dividends. It does. Picked up by Holland, passed away straight away for Leek. Well, it's a gamble when they go short, but there's the opportunity to get it back, and that's what's happened on this occasion, and Batley need to score quickly here.
Well, Walker's has the same opinion as me. They needed some field position, they needed to chance their arm to get the ball back, and they have.
Leek, further left, Brambani, trying to bring him in. Batley closing in here, Leek at dummy half. Walker dropping it back for Holland to have a go. He's going to be held up, but they're getting closer, creeping closer and closer. Leek again, goes to that left-hand side. Pass away. Brown does well to loop that ball out of the tackle. But a swarm of Toronto players coming in to make sure that, I think it's Harrison underneath all of that, can't get it even further away. Now it's battered in again by Brown. Toronto tested, they've passed the test. That was a sixth, they get the ball back again.
Yeah. You're going to have to be good today to breach this Wolfpack defence, and it's uphill. Kick play probably, if they have a set kick play, will probably be Batley's best opportunity with the way that the Pack are mussing up.
So Toronto looking to roll it away here. Just to fill you in on some of the other scores, by the way, one significant one. Featherstone are beating Dewsbury 34-18. Lee are thumping Rochdale 52-10. But what about this? Halifax 26, London 10 is a latest score in the championship. So London are having a difficult time of it of late. They were leading the table and looking like the champagne team of the championship, but it's gone a little flat for them over this last week or so. But that's only a latest score. I have to stress. We'll give you all those a little later when they reach full time. Here's Buchanan, who's on the halfway line. When he gets up to play, and the kick is high in the air from O'Brien, watched down carefully by the fullback Scott. But the chase from Toronto is such that Wallace is there to make sure there's no great advancement. Smeaton. Looking for this right edge as they attack. Leek. Brambani to Walker to Farrell, who's trying to burst his way in. The Batley fans felt there was something a little over-robust about that challenge. The referee didn't see anything wrong. Now it's Brown. Shout of Howell by the referee for the fifth time in this set. So here's the last. Walker again settles himself. Buchanan getting at him, but he's got to kick away. Pownall's underneath it, and the moment it comes down, he's smashed in the tackle by, I think it was Galbraith over there, who's done a very good job.
Well, great catch first and foremost, and then a great tackle. This ball's moving around like nobody's business. Pownall keeps his eyes on it. And
just about timed that right, didn't he? Just. This is Wallace. Kay can't deliver from dummy half on this occasion. Batley anxious to keep their opponents at that end of the field if they can. Sidler pounding it in. Well, that's the fifth. And we're going to see a 40-20 attempt here. It's very slow play the ball. Now it comes back. Briley will put the 40-20 attempt in, but it's going to be well short. It's out of play. It's a decent kick, but it's Batley who get the feed at the head and scrum 30 metres from there.
Well, there'll be some tired bodies on both teams. Mentioned it at the start of a telecast, and managing the game towards the back end is vitally important as well in relation to 7 or 8 or 9 days that both teams have had.
Well, they're both quite happy for the clock to be stopped here and for them both to get a little bit of a rest, get a bit of juice back in before they start the last 5 minutes. 6.5 minutes the official clock tells us. Batley up the hill. You'd have thought that it's too big a challenge for them now from here, but they want to go down with their heads held high. A little bit of pride and passion. Brown pushing them away. 40 metres out. In and back for Day. Walker. Harrison. On the halfway line. Scott. Here's Manning. Toronto refusing to be unpicked at this stage. With 5 gone. The last tackle sees a kick from Walker. It's a lovely little delicate chip over the top as well. Scott's onto that superbly. Needed to offload because he was down in the tackle, had to take the risk, but he's passed it early to Hopkins, who was there in support for the Toronto defence.
Smart little play, super little play. Scott quick, getting through on the ball.
Kay. Sidlow. Just looking it through at the moment. There's a little
kick. Great catch, wasn't it? Had to get rid of the ball.
Yeah. If there'd been a man on his inside shoulder and it had connected, that we'd have been waxing lyrical about that. How brilliant it was, but sadly, from his point of view, it didn't come off. And Ryan Briley again, just with a steadying kick to touch, which runs down a few more seconds, puts Batley deep inside their own half again, and keeps Toronto in complete control here. It's been a significant week for the Wolfpack. A double over Easter, backed up with this win here against Batley. They're top of the table. And remember, they've still got all their home games to come. For Matt Diskin, it's a lesson learned, I'm sure, about one or two of his players here who've put an effort in against this Toronto side. They're going to come up short. Unless there's a miracle to be had in this last 4 minutes. Brambani with a pass away. Manning will take it back towards the middle. Dane Manning. Second spell here at Batley. Leak. Here's Farrell. Booming 2 from the referee to tell us that's where we are in the tackle count. And here's another effort in again from Michael Ward. Big effort on Day. Referee puts his arm in the air and running out of dummy half. Ball's still alive here. The referee says play on. No advantage for Toronto, so they'll just get the handover. That was the 6th tackle. I think I got the tackle count wrong there. I do apologise.
They've got a chance their arm. I think Davy's gone in, hasn't he, and tried to expand the game. Is it a turnover?
Sidlow. Lost it. Batley get cheap possession back again. 30 metres out. Is there consolation to be had here? It's Michael Ward who's taken high. Bus is pointed away by the referee. In the meantime, there's a bit of a tussle going on. I think Hopkins was involved on the floor. The referee's kept it all calm and collected again.
I think the initial one was for a high tackle. Have a look.
London fighting back against Halifax. Halifax 26, London 16. It's now Leigh 64, Rochdale 10. Featherstone 46, Dewsbury 18. Those are the championship. The Swinton-Sheffield game has only been underway for a few minutes, so no score in that game so far. It was a late kick-off. Here's Farrell for Batley. 3 minutes left to play in this game. Leak to Walker, to Brambani, and Scott chiming in from full-back, trying to get the pass away. Well, he did get the pass away, but not to Crooks, the man intended. It's out of play, and Toronto get head and feet.
Well, they've had a dig, haven't they? He's had a dig, particularly Scott. Gets round the corner here, trying to find the pass play for Crooks, who will run him slightly. You have to say that the defence all day of the Wolfpack has been energetic and frantic, hasn't it? They've been conceded a kick, try, and on the intercept, so it's been hard to break down this line.
2 minutes to go, the official clock tells us. Is there another try in the game? Toronto are going back top, that's for sure now. Toulouse laid down the gauntlet yesterday with a thumping win over Barrow. Well, Toronto have responded here today. But there's a little bit of heat coming from underneath as well, not least from the likes of Featherstone and Lee, who are rejoining that promotion party after their very awkward start to the year. They're beginning to amass points as well. It's going to be a fantastic run in the back end of the season, the second half of the season. Here's Bussey. Ackers. Wallace. Kept alive. Wallace again. Buchanan pushing hard. They've had the ball. He's had the ball stolen. Legitimately this time, the referee says. Batley do have it back. But we're in the final minute. Penalty. Brad Day down and up again to face his aggressor, but the referee's already given the penalty kick Batley's way.
It's Brad Day here.
Oh yeah, legs.
Leg lift.
And a yellow card for Sam Hopkins. Well, with 23 seconds left of the game, it's fairly irrelevant as far as this match is concerned, but there might be a little bit of a case to answer with a disciplinary in the week ahead for Sam Hopkins. We shall wait and see. Toronto finished the match with 12. Batley
offload.
Desperately trying to get away from that number. They'd love another score before the hooter sounds. Here's Brown. Now it comes right. Harrison. Still going here. Manning. Back to Harrison. Middle to Brambani. Brambani's one-handed offload. The big prop forward Ward's galloping through. Now he goes left. A dive for the corner. And Brad Day will claim that consolation try for the Batley Bulldogs. It ain't going to be enough to get them back in the game. The hooter's going to sound, I should imagine, as soon as the kick is taken. But at least it puts a smile on their faces right at the end of the game.
And so it should. Just rewards for their efforts. They haven't quite been good enough today, but keep playing here. Find an offload at the death, and Brad Day gets in there. Michael Ward, the architect there, going from live. They can't bring him down. Finds the pass play. Brad Day in at the corner.
Yeah,
nice finish for Batley.
Terrific from Ward, wasn't it? So the kick to come here, and I think that will be the hooter sounded as soon as that kick is taken. In fact, I think it already has sounded. I think we missed it in the noise of the supporters cheering that moment. So Walker with the last kick of the game. Not going to take any shortcuts, even at this stage of this. And it's a good kick as well. So it finishes at 18 points for Batley, 26 for Toronto, and the Wolfpack are back on top of the pile. And it's been a second half performance of try scoring from Gareth O'Brien that has put them there, Brian Noble.
Absolutely. The man of the match performance from Gareth O'Brien. Decisive on 3 times, 3 scores, a hat-trick. Hard to come by here at Batley. Batley as energetic and enthusiastic as you'd think they would be. The Wolfpack coming out on top with a second half display that was clinical enough to get them the points.
Well, I think we're going to hear from Gareth O'Brien in just a short while, but we'll be wrapping up all the other scores as well before we go off air here. But I can tell you that it is still Halifax 26, London 16, our information, Lee 64, Rochdale 10 and Featherstone 46, Dewsbury 18 in the 3 other earlier kick-offs today. Swinton Sheffield, as we said, is a later kick-off. Both sets of players offering up each other congratulations for a tough old battle here today. But a splendid Easter for the Wolfpack now. 3 wins out of 3, because you count this weekend really as part of that tough period. And they've come here on a tough day against a team that wanted to put it up against them. And they've come away with a 26 points to 18 victory. Matt Diskin will be proud, I'm sure, of the effort of his players today. And supporters staying on as well to cheer their side. They've done a good job in selling this game here, Batley, and lots of supporters still staying out there enjoying the aftermath, and there'll be a lot of socialising, I'm sure, from both sets of supporters as well once the dust has settled on this.
Well, when the Wolfpack come to town, it's an event, isn't it? Everybody treating it such. Picking up from the York game of last year in League One, everybody now understands the attraction and the day that you can have, and Batley have certainly put in there, haven't they, today, with their effort.
OK, let's hear from the man of the match then, the man who scored a hat-trick in the second half, Gareth O'Brien, and he's with Matt down there.
Gareth, congratulations, man of the match performance and another victory. How pleased are you to turn it around in the second half?
Yeah, massively. You know, that hill really is something. It doesn't do justice on TV, but you know, Batley are a real physical team, and we knew we were going to be in for a physical battle, and they definitely brought that, but we matched them and, you know, got a good result.
Most coaches say if they go 6 points behind going into the second half down the hill, they're fairly happy, but how impressive, that said, was your second half performance as a team?
You know, we controlled the ball a lot better in the second half. I think we were at 57% in the first, so we knew that was a big factor for us being behind, and, you know, we controlled the ball well and caused them some problems.
Gareth, congratulations. Thanks for your time.
The 2018 Copa do Brasil, live and free on Free Sports.
If you spit blood, you may have gum disease and could be on a journey to much worse. Help stop the journey of gum disease. Switch to Corsadil toothpaste. It's 4 times more effective at removing the main cause of bleeding gums. For healthy gums and strong teeth, help leave bleeding gums behind. Corsadil Ultra Clean.
Oh, Sammy. So we've had a severe leak. Parents en route, and time is running out. Lucky for you, they called Direct Line. Your plumber's been, so let's put this plan into action. Pineapple shirt, Little Willie will size the place up. Mango, Big Will's on dry up. Kumquat, Agatha's on the heavy stuff. Are we, Crystal?
Yeah.
This little shindig never happened.
Come join the fun at Tombola, Britain's biggest bingo site. Play unique games online or download from the App Store or Google Play.
Sonny, life's a funny one. All smooth until one day, this happens. So it's cool when there's someone to turn to when you need some emergency cash. At Sunny, they don't charge fees at all. What you pay is crystal clear.
Yeah, that's life support. Swing by their site and stress not.
Loans with no fees from £100 at sunny.co.uk.
How much does your bank really do for you? If you think your bank's taking you for granted, break free and find somewhere better. TSB believes banks should profit with, not from their customers. That's why their Plus account gives all their customers 3% interest on balances up to £1,500. That's not just a teaser rate that gets taken away after a year. Just one reason 1,000 people join TSB every day.
Lexus LC. Experience amazing.
Santagur comes in a creme for spreading, cooking, and dipping. Santagur Blue Cheese Creme, sinfully creamy.
Take your coffee experience to new heights. Introducing Virtuo, the new Nespresso coffee system. Enjoy a large cup with a generous crema. Also try Reverso, the indulgent milk and coffee you can prepare with the new Virtuo. Coffee redefined. Nespresso, what else?
Isn't it time for a real conversation about your insurance? At NFU Mutual, our dedicated agents in 300 local offices and UK call centres take the time to talk things through. These real conversations help you cover the things that really matter and help us to pay out on 98% of claims, no quibble. To start a real conversation about your insurance, call NFU Mutual.
30,000.
You've won.
Holy mackerel.
Oh my God.
I didn't even need to knock on your door. Sign up before midnight on the 19th of April.
You never know, we could be knocking on your door.
He is going to love this. A few days ago, he had back pain. What happened?
For back and muscle pain relief, he reached for non-medicated gels until he discovered Voltarol. Its triple effect targets the pain, whilst its powerful anti-inflammatory ingredient helps speed recovery. So it's game on. Voltarol Back and Muscle Pain Relief Gel. Now with the innovative new No Mess applicator. Targeted pain relief without the mess. Voltarol No Mess applicator. The Liga Nor's title race heats up this weekend on Free Sports with a top-of-the-table clash between two giants of European football.
Here comes Benfica again. Oh! They mean business tonight.
And Porto are flying early on.
Followed by Sporting Lisbon in action against Belenenses.
He's done it again! Unbelievable!
A live Portuguese double. This Sunday on Free Sports. The KHL Gagarin Cup begins live this week on Free Sports.
This building is buzzing. Oh, my, you can't stop that. Are you watching this? What a shot. And the...
Discover a different sub every day with the new sub of the day. Only £2.49.
Boris needs regular checkups after eating a tennis ball and having 18 inches of intestine removed. At PetPlan, we pride ourselves on our breadth of cover, which allows us to pay 97% of all claims we receive. So whether your pet needs surgery...
And the fans, they are soaking...